blood. I thought we had something together.
We do.
Your catnip to a girl like me.
My dear penguins, thanks to Batman, the time has come to punish all of Gotham!
You missed.
It is a great pleasure to welcome back to Cinema Showcase the star of Batman Returns, Michael Keaton. Michael, very good to see you again.
Thank you.
I think it's safe to say that in Batman Returns you have another big hit. The first one ended up making goodness knows how many hundreds of millions of dollars all over.
I have the figures right here.
Did the success, the incredible success of that first Batman film at all surprise you?
Yeah, if you say at all, it surprised me. I knew if it were to work, it would work big. But I didn't know that it would work big with a big, bold print, capital B in front of it like it did.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever, does an actor ever know about how big a picture is going to become? Do you have a feeling once the film is released that, hey, we've got something here?
Oh, yeah. You very often have a sense that, hey, we've got something here. But no, nobody, I don't know anybody who knows how big it's going to be, no.
I guess if you did, an actor would never have a less than...
Well, no, sometimes you do certain pictures and you don't worry about if they're big or not. Mm-hmm. Or you say, well, hopefully it'll be pretty big. It doesn't have to be huge. You know what I mean? I mean, I've done movies where I just wanted to do them.
Right.
And I've also done movies where I thought, oh, I'd love this to be a hit, and they were failures.
Yeah.
You know? But what's nice about these, and really it's been said, but it's true, and it's really I'm starting to feel real comfortable with it now, is I can really pretty much just kind of have the guts and also relax into doing things I really want to do, because at this point, I'm not going to starve. The risk you run is probably, when things are this enormous, that if you do things that don't make any money for a while, or end up not being very good and not making any money for a while, then after a while you run the risk of saying, wow, what a slide, or what happened to him. But you know what? At this point, I've proven that at least I'm not a bad actor. I'm not saying I'm not capable of being bad in certain situations, because I think I am, but generally speaking, I know I'm not bad. So I think I'd like to say, no, I pretty much want to do the things I want to do right now, even though I always have. I want to really do that now. Do what I want to do.
Well, I think you've reached that point where it's fair to say that you've really earned that, and I think that's an important thing to say, that an actor has actually earned certain things after being in the business a certain period of time and having been in X number of films that have made this much money. Well, I mean, that's what it's all about, basically, is you've earned your success.
Yeah,
Nobody knows
thanks.
giving it to you, so.
Yeah, thanks. I feel like I'm just barely starting to reach that point where I feel like I've earned it, truthfully. Because I've always avoided, or at the beginning I avoided, too much attention toward how great or how hot I was, because for two reasons. A, I never felt like it was proven until you did it 5, 6, 7, 10 times. Then I think you can start talking about, wow, this guy's really great, because then you see that day in, day out, you can do it.
Right.
And by the same token, I may have been a little frightened of being hot, knowing that you can go cold in a Tokyo minute, you know. And so it was both. Now I'm starting to say that I feel like, just starting to feel like I've earned some stuff, you know. That I think the danger is a lot of people think they get hot in 1 or 2 movies, they've earned things. You haven't earned anything, I don't think.
Explain a little bit, if you would, about your working relationship with Tim Burton, because has it reached that point yet where he hardly has to finish a sentence and you know what he's talking about, and vice versa?
Well, what's interesting is that happened real fast in Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice almost immediately. We got to that pretty quickly. We got to almost that state on Beetlejuice, and weirdly we had to kind of back up on Batman a little bit and go through some things that we didn't need to in Beetlejuice. In this one, what I found was that Tim is becoming a better actor's director. And I think he enjoys story and the idea of the story and talking with actors and directing actors. I think he enjoys it more, and he feels more comfortable, and he's confident about it. I sense he likes it a little more. And so, because we didn't, Beetlejuice was such an extraordinary experience because I came in kind of rolling with my agenda. He really liked my agenda, and he said, "Ooh," he was wide open, saying, "Ooh, not only do I like that, I'll give you this to add to it." And so there was immediate trust, almost immediate trust, which was good, because now, even though we may require more work in Batman, at least we trust each other, you know.
I think that's evident, and
I'd like to go with what I really want to do with him. It'd be okay with me if I always had an ongoing relationship with Tim Burton in movies, supporting roles, main roles, but not obviously not exclusively, but on and off. But what I really want to do is go still somewhere else with him, like Batman is a certain thing. Beetlejuice is its own unique thing. I'd like to find still another area, and I don't even know what it is. Maybe it's even more of a human kind of experience, or something that's more realistic. Maybe it's not that. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's even farther out than anything. But he's a fun guy to explore with. He's truly creative, and you know what? That sounds obvious. There ain't a lot of people who are underlined truly creative doing this.
You missed.
Wow. The Batman. Or is it just Batman? Your choice, of course. Well, that was very brief.
It is a great pleasure to welcome to Cinema Showcase the filmmaker behind Batman Returns, Tim Burton. Tim, it's very good to see you again.
Oh, this is my camera. Okay.
First of all, congratulations on Batman Returns.
Thank you.
Terrific, terrific film.
Thank you.
And as with all of your films, one of the things that immediately struck me, of course, was the visual impact of it. And I must ask you, what prompted you to give the film a winter setting? Because this adds so much.
Well, you know, it's just in deciding to do the film. You know, I've never had that sort of thing happen before, and I wasn't really interested in. And once thought about the new characters, thought about setting it in a different place, because we were working with new people and stuff, and you know, it was not going to be a case where you could just use the same sets and all of that. So it needed a different energy, just as a movie, and to do it and to just create a different kind of energy, and all of that. Working with new people, the new characters, doing it in a different place, new writer, all of that. All of that was necessary and just helped kind of create another feel, you know, and another, and there's just something about these characters that I just find very compelling in this world of night and the coolness of it. It's like you're inside of somebody's mind or something, and I just really, they're very psychological characters, and it's like fairy tale characters in a way, or these kind of weird sort of symbolic images, and just all of those things created a good energy.
Well, I think when you say a cool element to it, that's important, because it's almost as if the movie in certain cases does not seem to be shot in color, but rather various shades of blue, which is very
well,
interesting.
it's interesting. I mean, and some of that just takes on a life of itself, you know, when you're dealing with the winter and you're dealing with these kind of characters and where they are and live and where they hang out. I mean, you know, you're not going to line the Batcave in flowered print wallpaper, you know.
maybe next time, you know.
Yeah, well, it could be a good look for him, yes.
I know, of course, the original film was a tremendous success, but what prompted you to do the, I hate to use the word sequel, because sequel indicates...
I know what you mean.
a continuation of the Batman story, we'll call it.
Why did I decide to do it?
Yeah.
Well, I think it was because, you know, I sort of figured at some point, you know, the next movie I was going to do anyway is going to be weird characters and weird costumes, so, you know, why not it be this one? You know, because the fact is, these new characters brought feel and an energy to it, and something new, and seeing him, you know, the Batman character, deal with that, and I just felt like it just was another movie that brought a freshness to it, and something that, because I realized at the end of it all that I do love this world and these characters.
Right.
So, you know, why not? Why not?
When you're thinking about these characters, how important is it to visualize who will play them? Because let's face it, they're going to be dealing with a lot of makeup, a lot of all of this.
Well, you're really right about that. It's a very odd process. Now, you know, it's like with each actor, it's different. You know, Michael was set because we, you know, worked together. But Danny, I mean, you know, Danny DeVito, obviously, initially, you go, it's perfect for the Penguin. Now, but that's one tier. The next tier is what we come up with and creating that. And he was so interested, as I was, not to just be Danny DeVito in a top hat kind of a thing, that there's a whole other process that went on, and that's really magical and fun to see somebody like him, you know, make this character and have it come to life, and, you know, and the same with Michelle and all of the characters. It's like there's no like reality context for any of this, so it's real. That's where the fun comes, though. That's where you get excited, you know, is to see these actors bring this stuff to life.
What for you, or is there a single most interesting or exciting aspect to to the filmmaking process? Is it pre-production, when you're the shooting, the editing?
They're all weirdly different, but I think the thing that keeps me going the most, it's the hardest part, which is the shooting, but to see like the actors, especially taking like this kind of absurd subject matter, and when you see them on the set and with the lights and everything, and the beauty of that and the behind-the-scenes kind of stuff, there's a magic to all of that that kind of, no matter how depressed you get, kind of the way how hard it's going, that it shines through. And to see them bring this kind of stuff to life is really exciting to me.
I think certain applause is due once again to Danny Elfman, who wrote another excellent score.
Danny and I, we kind of came up through this whole thing together, and he's another character in all these movies.
Yeah.
He really does it.
What is it meant for you?
I don't know. Nothing. I mean, I just really like finishing this, and I sort of gonna regenerate and see what happens.
Well, what
Goodbye, my unintended. Go to heaven.
It is a great pleasure to welcome to Cinema Showcase Michelle Pfeiffer. Michelle, it's so good to see you again.
Thank you.
First of all, playing the role of Catwoman in Batman Returns was obviously something of a, I would imagine, different challenge than, say, Frankie and Johnny, and requires, and correct me if I'm wrong, a different sort of preparation for an actress. Could you explain a little bit about what goes on psychologically in preparing for roles versus those you play?
Well, the approach is really the same. As far as, I guess, discovering who the character is. The difference, though, however, is obviously the physical demands of Batman that I didn't have in Frank and Johnny.
Right.
And in that way, I guess it was more time-consuming, and that I had this whole other element that I had to spend a good deal of time on. And I had to do what I usually do at the same time.
Yeah, that can be, I've talked to actors and actresses before who have worked with, well, shall we say, a lot of extra material, or stuff, we'll call it, like, I assume you're talking about the costume and the makeup and all that sort of thing. And they look at it as either a help or a hindrance. How was it for you? Something?
It's both. On one hand, in the beginning it was a hindrance. In the beginning I just was uncomfortable, and everything seemed to be getting in my way. But then in the end, once you put on that costume, you can't help but feel different. When you walk in those shoes and you hold that whip, I mean, you can't help but feel different.
I read this somewhere, or was told this, that in the Catwoman costume, at first, you literally, because of its design, you could not hear.
I couldn't hear. I couldn't hear because I had this very thick rubber over my ears, and the strap was cutting off my vocal cords because it was too tight. And and the shoes, they were kind of they were sort of built wrong, and I was tilting forward, and they were very high, and so I was really off balance all the time. So it took a while to work out those kinks. And
Yes. Weren't going for comfort there, were they?
no, no.
When you're making a film as large and as complicated as Batman Returns is, do you? Or let's broaden that question to any film. Do you know at any point during the film that, hey, all right, this is going to work, or do you have to literally wait until an audience watches it?
I knew throughout filming I would see such extraordinary things when I would look at the footage, and visually it was so mind-blowing, really, but it was so disjointed in that it was completely out of sequence. I couldn't really get an idea on whether or not it was going to work. I just knew that there were so many extraordinary sequences, and so in the end, when I finally saw it all come together, I really was just ecstatic. I was gasping. I couldn't believe that it was actually sort of coming together as a whole. I wasn't,
Well, it certainly did come together as a whole. And let me ask you a question about critics. Obviously, when a critic reviews anything, it's their own personal opinion, and yet so much seems to be made about what critics think. Do critics affect you at all, as far, no matter what they've been very kind to you personally? But do they affect what you do? If they wrote something, Michelle needs to whatever, would you think about changing it next time, or what?
I would like to say that I wouldn't, But as you said, they've been pretty good to me.
Yeah.
My time will come. And because, inevitably you get slammed. I've been slammed a few times for certain things, but there have been negative things written about me. But I would hope that I wouldn't be affected by that. I would hope that I would just continue to make the choices in the same fashion that I've been making them.
Yeah. Depend on your own judgment. That's, I think, obviously the safest way.
You got to do that.
As I was saying, I'm a woman and can't be taken for granted. Life's a bitch. Now so am I. Who are you? Who's the man behind the bat? Maybe you can help me find the woman behind the cat. No, that's not you. There you are. Saved by kitty litter.